Well, here we are, taking a little breather from all that medication. They are done with the full course of the coccidiosis treatment at the highest dose, because I don't mess around. And they've had no food besides seeds for the entire week that they've been on it, because it's administered in their water. So you can't give them any other way to get water or they won't have the medicine. So now that we're off of it, we're getting soft food, which clearly they've been eating at. And we're getting some vegetables. And we're taking a little break. They still have to have their last dose of ivermectin for the air sac mites in a couple of days. But for right now, their water has nothing in it but water. And they're allowed to eat foods that have fluids in them too. And there they go. Ooh, they say that's our vegetables. We love our vegetables. Here we come. Miss Pearl eating her soft food. Oops, he flew away. Alright. So yeah, I always put down 2 plates because it reduces stress. As far as everybody getting a chance to eat. You can see when a dominant bird comes up, like Lilith just did here, who fears reprimanding no one. The other bird retreats oftentimes, and if you look over here where it's really crowded, they're reducing stress by taking a piece off the plate and moving away with it. That leaves room for everybody else to go and get their piece and for them to eat. There's Lilith over there. She's a beast. I think if she were a human, we'd say she has poor social skills. But she's just big and she's bossy. So, but they're, you know, as a flock, they have to have very complex social behavior in order to function as a flock. So what you're seeing here, we back off a little bit, is them giving each other space. Take your little piece and move away with it. Even if you lose it in the hay, then you can go get another one. But you can do it quickly and back off and just give everybody room to get what they want, reducing any chances of conflict. It's interesting, that's Lilith and Rainbow over there standing on the plate and eating while everyone else is taking their food and moving away. Oh, Rainbow moved away too. Biggest females. Being a female parakeets, I'm beginning to believe, I've heard this before, and I'm beginning to believe that they're actually more aggressive than the males. They certainly squabble a lot more in the female cage than they do in the males over there. But yeah. Size has something to do with this. And the males do defer to the females quite a little bit. Good girl. there's always a kind of a split between treating them with medications and not treating them. Because, of course, medications take a toll. It's a chemical fix. And, of course, there are many illnesses that it's absolutely worth the toll that the medication takes. But in a situation like I've had for the last couple of weeks, where I started treating for air sac mites and then got hit with coccidiosis right in the middle of the air sac mite treatment, I've been juggling a lot of medications on these guys. Because, of course, both air sac mites and coccidiosis can cause secondary internal infections, and then you have to bring the antibiotics into play. So there's been a lot of medication going on here. And I always kind of worry, am I doing too much? Do they really need all of this? But if I don't, they die. So, or at least become very, very sick. So like right now, Porky over here has been looking a little sad and fluffed up. And over here, Marine has been looking a little sad and fluffed up. So I'm kind of worried about them, and I'm keeping an eye on them, as well as that's Matilda. She's looking better, actually. So I'm watching them. Let's see, they get 2 days of regular water and wet foods and, freedom from medicine. And then I have to give them the second dose of ivermectin for the air sac mites. And after that, they'll be cleared for everything. But I will just be watching for birds that need a follow-up Amtil treatment. And the two on the top of my list would be Bubba and Marine. And possibly Matilda, although she's looking a lot better today. So it's a juggling act, The medications clear the illness, but they create their own problems. And sometimes clearing the illness creates problems. So there's always a kind of a push-me-pull-you thing going on. And I'm really relieved to be able to get them off medications for a few days, let them flush out their systems, eat something besides seed all the time. And the ivermectin is a one-day treatment, so they have to have it the day after tomorrow is their second and last dose. And I'm really looking forward to knocking that out and being done. I have a bunch of birds that got their treatment for coccidiosis interrupted because they were either showing me symptoms that they didn't feel well. And at this point, because I've been treating for your pill, you're a terrible beast. And so are you, Brad. At this point, I've been, look at my little white cockatiel down here. That's Cotton. She's an albino. She's learning how to live with parakeets. Anyway, since both of the treatments that I've been giving them can cause secondary infections that are quite serious, the secondary infection for air sac mites will kill them because all of their air sacs and airways just go inflamed and swell up and close up and they die because they can't breathe. But the one for coccidiosis ain't pretty either. It's their whole intestinal lining blowing up and they're pooping pus and the whole thing. It's not, an ant will kill them too eventually, not as fast as the other will though. But the suffering is not good. So, and it's a matter of looking at a bird. If I could afford to take them all to the vet and figure out, keep each one in a separate cage so I collect its poop and know who it belongs to, label it, take it to a vet, pay $30 per bird or $40 or $50 to have their poop tested to see who's feeling well and who isn't. That would be lovely, but I'm not a millionaire. And I have over 50 birds altogether, and that's just not going to happen. So all I can do is the best I can do. And I'm going a lot on sitting in a cage and watching the birds. Who's eating and who's not. Who's flying and who's not. Who's cheerful and squawky and social, and who's sitting alone with hunched feathers. So there's just, I can't say enough about observation, just sitting here watching. The fact that Maureen has a little bloody spot on her forehead. That's how I'm telling her apart from her father at this point, because she's almost as big as he is. But just, the fact that she's down here running around and eating, actively chowing down, and the fact that Matilda right here, which is right next to Maureen, and there's her Royal, isn't just sitting there fluffed up on the perch feeling bad. When you get used to watching your birds, you notice stuff much faster. So, like, Hedwig, the milk chocolate cinnamon opaline clear flight pied right here, right there, has also been looking a little sad. But just in the last couple of days, when I come out here and sit and look for a little while, she's not looking all fluffed up and alone, and she's being more active. So I think she was just feeling bad. She beat whatever it is that was bothering her. I think it looks like Matilda's getting ready to do the same thing. And it may be that Maureen will feel better once she's clear of the medication, because, it makes them feel bad. And I don't want to over-treat. So, but I have 10 birds on antibiotics right now because they were either huffing and puffing, trying to breathe after the air sac mite treatment, or because halfway through the coccidiosis they sat hunched on a perch and didn't do anything. See Porky right here? See how his feathers are fluffed up? He's just stopped. He's not talking to anybody. He's not eating. Oh, there, he's eating a little bit. But it's not an appropriate time for him to have his feathers fluffed up and be hunched up like that. So, he's someone I'm going to be keeping an eye on. But I don't want to, pull him out and medicate him right now, because he's got another... If I do that, then he doesn't get the ivermectin, and then we have to go back and start all over again. I've already got 10 birds that are going to have to do the coccidiosis treatment from scratch, because I had to interrupt it to catch them when they fell, health-wise, from the air sac mite medication or from the other treatment. So they're going to end up getting extra medication because they couldn't maintain it through. So I'm going to... Porky doesn't look like he's in danger, and neither does Maureen. So I'm going to leave them in here with their buddies. This is a low-stress situation for them because this is their life, and they love it here. And I'm going to give them that second ivermectin treatment, and then I'm going to watch them like a hawk. Is it going to take them down the rest of the way, or are they going to pull out? So we'll see. But like I said, neither of them nor Matilda's actually looking better today than she has for quite a while, are looking like they're desperate. They're still eating. They're still walking around. They're still flying. So it's not that terrible yet. Whereas when I pull a bird, it's because birds are flock animals, so they behave in groups. When everybody flies down to the bottom of the cage to eat vegetables, they all do it together. When they're done eating and they fly back up again, they all do that together too. So when you get a bird that's not moving with the flock, now everybody's going to go up there, fluff up their feathers, and preen themselves. And they'll all do it. So if you sit and watch them, you'll start to spot the one that isn't doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, who's just sitting there by himself hunched. In my cage, I have perches that move and perches that are still. I think it's really important to have perches that move, like branches that move on a tree, because it's core body strength to be able to sit on a perch, hang on to it, even when it's moving around and jiggling, and being comfortable there. They can actually, once they get used to this thing, they can actually sleep on this perch while it's wiggling around. But I also have solid perches like that, and birds that don't feel well go straight for the solid perches that don't move, because they are too exhausted to adapt to this. Whereas when they do feel well, I think they kind of think this is fun. They fly around back and forth and rock it and wiggle it and, you know, carry on. So it's, I can't say enough about observing your birds, because that is what's going to tell you more than anything about how their health is and how they're feeling. Porky, he had air sac mites, and when I gave him his first dose of air sac medication, this is a bird that never flew upwards. I've had him for a year, and he never really flew. He did graceful falling, and that was about it. And now, I'm talking a few days after I gave him air sac medication, he started flying. See that? He just did altitude increase. So he's actually feeling better than he ever has in his life, but he still doesn't look, that hunched up, fluffed up thing is a little worrisome. So I'm watching him. But if he's strong enough for the first time in his life to be flying and gaining altitude, he's not in any danger yet. So I just watch. Whereas Sparky, I had put him out here and I was amazed at how well this bird handled this. He'd been in a little tiny cage in someone's apartment all of his life with no other birds around. I took him out here, threw him in with Kelly. He mated, raised some babies, and then I put him in here in the big flight, and he couldn't fly to save his life. He's a big, heavy bird, and he just looked at this place like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And it took him probably a week